Hello, everyone. Hopefully, you can hear us. I say everyone, no one's actually on this thing at the minute, but hey ho, hopefully things will pick up. Uh, Welcome to the channel, the Rambling Geordie. We're going live today. We're going to talk about a few things. Sophie of Dundee, or the Dundee Girl, whatever it is you want to call her. We're going to talk about Restore Britain and how everyone is busy shitting themselves now because, well, basically everyone thinks that all we're doing is taking votes away from reform, splitting the vote. Well, yes, we are. That's exactly what Restore Britain are doing. And, well, I'll go into it a bit more later, but I offer no apologies for that. If we've got time, which we probably will, I'm going to talk a little bit about Blue Sky and the Online Safety Act, the banning of social media for under 16s and stuff. And we'll probably have a smattering of other little topics going on as things happen. So there we are. So first of all, we'll talk about Sophie of Dundee. Now, if you don't know who that is, I think you'll remember. I think it was last August, 2025. There was a 12-year-old girl went viral on social media. She had I think it was a knife and an axe or like a hatchet. And she was squaring up to someone holding a camera, telling them to get away from her and her sister. So basically, what happened was the lefties out there were all, oh my god, why has she got these? Why has she got these weapons? Why is she attacking this Bulgarian guy who's done nothing to her, and all the rest of it? And all of us who aren't retarded lefties were saying, well, he's obviously done something to her. It looks like she's defending herself and her sister, and we wanted to know what the hell happened. What the hell's going on? What's made this young girl, 12-year-old girl, what's made her grab weapons to defend her and her sister? But apparently, according to the lefties, well, this is just the state of the world now. This girl's just a racist and a xenophobe and all the rest of this. She's a bigot. She just doesn't like people who aren't from Scotland, who aren't like her. Well, guess what? Turned out that was not the case whatsoever. Now, at the time, people like Humza Yusuf and all sorts of big names in politics were piling on the girl. This is disgusting. This is what bigotry looks like. All the rest of that shit. And, well, what do you know? So, 23rd of August 2025, in the Lochie area of Dundee, specifically St Anne Lane, a group of girls aged 12 to 14 were walking when they were approached by a Bulgarian couple, Ilya Belov, who was then 22, and his sister. I haven't got a clue how to say that. She was 20. The man allegedly made sexual remarks to the girls. So an altercation followed. The sister assaulted one of the older girls, the sister of Ilya Belov, that is, assaulted one of the older girls, pulling her hair and striking her, and the man pushed the 12-year-old, causing her head to hit a metal handrail. So the 12-year-old girl pulled out a knife and an axe, weapons that she'd been carrying, and brandished them to defend herself and the group. The moment was filmed on a phone. So police initially charged the 12-year-old with possession of offensive weapons, and her identity has never been officially released as she is a minor. Now, you'll notice there that the police didn't believe what she was saying and charged her with possession of offensive weapons. Now, alright. A 12-year-old girl's walking around carrying a knife and an axe. That's not a good thing, really. And for many different reasons. Why does this girl have a knife and an axe with her? Well, straight away, like I said, all the lefties were, oh, she's just a bigot, she's a troublemaker, and all the rest of this. Well, it turns out, no, that's not the case. It's not the first time they'd been harassed by people. And she was sick to death of it, and basically wanted to wanted to make sure that if she ever got harassed again, nothing was going to happen to her. Now, I can't blame her for that. I'm not saying it's ideal that this girl's going around with an axe and a knife. Of course not. Nobody should have to be going around carrying fucking bladed articles and all the rest of it. But that's what she had to do. Can you imagine what would have happened if she wasn't carrying them weapons with her? Well, it's best not to think about it, really. She might not have been here to tell her tale. So the footage of the girl holding the weapons, it spread obviously extremely quickly on social media. She was given the nickname Sophie of Dundee, or a lot of memes were posted of her looking like Braveheart, like AI renderings of her and all the rest of that. The narratives claim she was bravely defending herself and her friends from sexual assault and harassment by migrants. Turned out that's exactly what she was doing. The story was heavily amplified by high-profile figures, including Elon Musk, gaining millions of views. Crowdfunding pages raised tens of thousands of pounds for the girl, with some later criticised or called into question. So, again, this is because people were just hoping beyond hope that she was just a bigot. This Bulgarian man and his sister were just walking along, just minding their own business, and then all of a sudden this girl comes along and suddenly starts trying to chop their heads off with a fucking axe. So, no, that's not what happened, was it? Police Scotland quickly issued statements warning the public about misinformation being spread online. They clarified that there was no evidence to support some of the more extreme claims circulating, for example, that the girls were at imminent risk of sexual assault in the way described in some posts, and they urged people not to speculate on ethnicity or unverified details. Some initial police statements were later revised after further evidence, including CCTV, was reviewed. Yes, because, what they do is they've got to go with the default narrative, which is girls bad, foreigners good. Locals bad, foreigners good. No foreigners are bad. You can't ever just say something like that. That's bigoted. It's horrible. It's disgusting. So the court outcome has just come around. So in a later court case, the Bulgarian man, Ilya Belov, was convicted of assault, threatening behaviour, and making sexual remarks. His sister pled guilty to assault. Wow, wow, wow. It's almost as if the initial reports of the entire thing were correct all along. Us horrible, bigoted bastards on the right were actually telling the truth. Now, would you believe that, eh? Would you believe it? The court heard the girls' testimony and largely accepted their account of events. The judge praised how the girls gave evidence. This outcome was seen by many as vindicating the girls' version of what happened. Well, of course it did. It's exactly what happened. It's exactly what we were told. That this fucking Bulgarian guy and his sister were going around trying to chat shit to these girls, threatening them, assaulting them, and making sexual remarks. If someone was doing that to my 12-year-old daughter, I'd be doing a lot more than that with them, trust us. I'd be doing more than just carrying an axe around. So the incident became a flashpoint in debates about immigration and crime, self-defense laws, how quickly social media can spread unverified or exaggerated stories, and police and media handling of such cases. Well, yes, it did, because the police and the media handled it exactly the same as each other. Foreigners good, natives bad. That's exactly how they pushed that entire story. Immigration and crime thing comes. I mean, it it's like apples and oranges, isn't this? Is that the right phrase? No, it's like two things exactly the same. You can't have one without the other. Okay. Yes, there's natives who commit crimes. Of course there is, but we can't get rid of them. We can jail them, but we can't deport them. Immigrants who come here and commit crimes, you deport them. Get rid. You don't want them. You don't want them here. Get fucking rid. I don't know how that is an alien thought to people. How this isn't a normal thought that goes through people's brains, but anyway. Self-defense laws, I really do think these need looking at. Like I say, I'm still not over the moon that this girl was carrying a knife and an axe around with her. I'm just not. Um, even if she wasn't getting harassed and bullied and all the rest of that shit, I don't, I wouldn't expect her to be carrying a knife and an axe around with her. I'm glad she did. So I know I'm kind of going against what I'm saying here. I understand that I'm being a bit hypocritical. Because if she didn't have them, what else could have happened to her? Like I said before, it doesn't bear thinking about what could have happened to the girl. But why are we at a stage now where girls have got to say to themselves, I've got to carry some sort of fucking weapon with me? In case someone does something to us. It's a fucking disgrace. I mean, pepper spray should be mandatory for anyone who needs to carry it. Anyone who wants to carry it. It should be legal. It doesn't kill you, but it can deter things. It can stop rapes, it can stop attacks, it can stop assaults, it can stop robberies, burglaries, whatever you want. It's non-lethal. Why is it illegal? If someone can explain that to me, I would be, very thankful to you, though I wouldn't understand it. How many women have been raped walking home at night when, if they had some pepper spray with them, they could have maybe at least tried to stop it happening? I'm not saying it would work 100% of the time, might not work 50% of the time, but it would work some of the time. These women wouldn't have to go through such shit that they do. Anyone walking home who's been raped by whoever, immigrants or natives, whatever you want, that is one way of getting this to stop. Or at least being able to prevent things like this happening. I think this needs to be brought up. This needs to be it needs to be talked about in Parliament. Although I know that doesn't always actually do anything for anyone, but it's maybe worth a try. So there's been a few people online who were condemning the girl and who put out posts saying what a horrible little bigot she was and all the rest of it, who've actually come out and apologised, and some who just have not apologised. Julie Bindle's one. If you don't know who Julie Bindle is, she's probably the biggest feminist you've ever come across in your life. Now, I don't always disagree with Julie, but a lot of the time I do. I cannot stand feminism in any way, shape or form. I don't always disagree with every single take she has. I do stand with her a bit on the trans issues, which basically she's against, which good, so you should be. But she did the same. She talked about how bad this Sophie of Dundee was and what she did was horrible. And her version of an apology was basically to say, I got this wrong. That's it. Now, I get feminists aren't able to admit when they're wrong very often. They're not able to take accountability for their actions, which, to be fair, a lot of women are like that nowadays. But I mean, what a disgusting fucking way to just that's it. Move on from it. I got it wrong. Move on, right? Forget all about it. I didn't, it's not important anymore. Just think what could have happened to this girl, man, and you're sitting there saying, "Oh well, yeah, all right." I got it wrong. Like she can't even apologize, man. Like shit, I got that totally wrong. I apologize to the girl. Hope she's all right. Blah de blah. No, nothing like that. Where's the solidarity with the sisterhood here? None. There's none, is there? None whatsoever. Humza Yusuf, he apologised, but again, they're mealy mouthed. There's nothing. No one actually means what they say. They're saying it because they feel like they've got to say it. The truth is, these people are fucking devastated that this girl, that she was vindicated in the first place. They really, really wanted this girl to be a bigot. They didn't want her to be right. They didn't want her to be actually scared for her life and her sister's life. They wanted her to just be some chavvy little bigot kid walking around with weapons hoping to cave some fucking immigrant's head in. That's all it was, and they're devastated that that's not the case. Well, there you are. So that's the end of it, really, is it? I mean, what more can you say about it from now on? I mean, all these lefties who are just ignoring it, not one. I haven't seen a lefty who's not in a prominent position come out and say, "Oh shit!" So it turned out it was true. Oh God, we got that wrong, man, didn't we? Poor girl. Maybe we should stop and think a little bit more in future the next time something like that happens. Maybe we should be open to all stories rather than, well, that can't be true because that means you're a bigot. Anyway, I hope the girl gets over it. I'm so glad that she's been vindicated for it. I hope we get to a point where 12-year-old girls don't have to carry knives and axes around with them. Because it still haunts me a little bit, that, to be honest with you. Like I say, I do understand why. I'd really rather we didn't have to get into that sort of, to get to that position in life. Vote for Restore Britain, and hopefully we won't ever again. So I'm going to move on to another type of attack, shall we say, that happened. Forgive me 1 second. I'm just I've lost all my notes. So there was obviously we all know about what happened in Belfast. I mean, that goes without saying. Fucking disgusting. The guy who it's confirmed he's completely blind now. He had one eye cut out and he's had one eye stabbed out. His nose was carved off. He's been absolutely battered with a knife around his neck, around his back. I mean, he's got life-changing injuries, and God knows what the hell's going to happen to the guy. So there's been, yes, so there was another stabbing. This was in Briarfield, Lancashire, which is near Burnley. It was on Friday, and it was around about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it was a 17-year-old girl was walking along the street when a man ran up behind her, stabbed her in the back of the neck. And if anyone's seen the video, which I have, it's fucking brutal. It was described by police as unprovoked. Armed police were called and quickly arrested a 30-year-old man from the local area on suspicion of attempted murder. The girl was taken to hospital with a stab wound to the neck. Her injuries were serious but not life-threatening, thankfully. She has since been released from hospital and is recovering at home with her family. Well, at least we've got something half decent out of that. So I know a lot of you'll be thinking, well, what? Like, I've never heard of that. What the hell? What's the difference between that and the guy in Belfast? I mean, that one was all over the news. This one, no one's heard of it. I checked Sky News. It was near the bottom of the page on the web page, in a tiny little segment that you know, if you were flicking through, you'd probably miss. So the arrested man is a 30-year-old British man of Pakistani heritage who lives locally. Police have stated there is no evidence that the attack was racially motivated. That's because both the victim and the suspect are reported to be of Pakistani heritage. Now, the news stories that I have seen about this never mention that. So, of course, there is no evidence that the attack was racially motivated because it's the same fucking race as her. I mean, what a stupid thing to say. The guy's still in police custody. So the public reaction, like I say, it's been a lot different. A lot different from what the Belfast incident was. So the footage of the attack, it was circulating widely on social media after it happened. But like I said, not a lot of people talked about it or anything like that. And I'm thinking, well, why? What's the difference? A young girl on her own, 17-year-old, and some arsehole Pakistani guy comes up and stabs her in the fucking neck. So what's the difference with this one? Well, the local MP Oliver Ryan's called it a traumatic and life-changing event and urged people not to spread misinformation. What a surprise. There's no misinformation to spread, Mr. Ryan. I hope you understand here. There's no misinformation to spread. It's on camera, done video, of this guy running up behind her, stabbing her 2 or 3 times in the neck, and her running off with her hand holding her neck. Some small protests did take place in Burnley in the days after, and extra police patrols were put in place. Right. So, my take on this, of why it's hardly been mentioned as much, certainly as much as what the Belfast guy is. On one hand, you've got a young girl, okay, 17 years old. No one wants to see girls getting attacked or women getting attacked, anything like that. Nobody wants to see that. But what you've also got, on the other hand, is that both the victim and the perpetrator were both Pakistani. Now, that shouldn't make a difference, really, should it? It's still a young girl. It's still a 17-year-old girl who's been stabbed in the neck by some fucking psychopath. But I tell you why it has been kept quiet. Okay? It hasn't been spread across the newspapers. It hasn't been spread across the websites. It hasn't made that much of a splash. But if you think to yourself, 2 Pakistani people, one getting stabbed, yeah, it's bad. But who's it bad for? It's bad for normal people, for girls, thinking that another young girl's been stabbed by someone. But it reflects bad on the Pakistani and Muslim community, because everyone knows that Pakistanis and Muslims have got a major issue as far as honour killings and honour crimes go. This looks like one of them. I know it's not. I know this guy's just randomly gone up to one and stabbed her, but it doesn't help with the image, really, does it? You'll also get a lack of empathy from people who are just, well, this is just a fucking couple of Pakistanis in our country trying to kill each other or whatever. Who gives a fuck? And, I mean, that is harsh, but I kind of get it. I personally don't care what her nationality or heritage is or whatever. She's a young girl. She's 17 years old. Why the hell is she getting stabbed by some fucking deranged lunatic? But I think the media have definitely kept it quiet a bit because it's just going to antagonise people even more. or another Pakistani going around trying to stab people, another Muslim going around trying to stab people, or actually stabbing people, another uh, brown on brown crime, another Muslim on Muslim crime, another honour killing scenario going on. It's another reason not to tell people, because people are just going, well, fuck them off, get rid of them. If they want to do that to each other, go and do it in your own country. Don't come to this country and start bringing your shit over here. And that's why I feel that it hasn't been talked about very much. I might be wrong. Let us know what you think about it, guys, because, I mean, it would be interesting to see what everyone else thinks about this, because, like I say, I don't think people give as much of a shit. And I really can't understand to a degree why. Let me know what you think about that one, guys. Put it in the comments, or just tell us on me Twitter, me X, whatever you want to do. But yes, that's, to me, is another example of, well, don't tell them too much bad news, because, well, you know, I'm 100% guaranteed it would be all over the newspapers if the man who stabbed her in the neck was a white man and this was a Pakistani girl. This would be everywhere in the media. It would be on every fucking social media site, every news site. It would be absolutely everywhere you looked. But hey, you know, maybe I'm just being cynical. Who's to say? Eh? So, moving on quickly, I want to talk about the. Has anyone ever heard the term nudge teams? So, nudge teams are or they were, a conspiratorial idea that whenever there's some sort of major event in the country happens, i.e., the guy from Belfast, Stephen Ogilvy, who got stabbed, carved up, mutilated, whatever you want to call it, that whenever that happens, the police send a nudge team round to the family and make sure that they don't stir up any trouble with what it is they've got to say. Don't say, fucking hate Muslims, they should all be sent packing and all the rest of this. No, we don't want to make this political and all the rest of that. That's what they're told to say. This is the conspiracy that was going around. And it turns out, shockingly enough, that it's actually true. The Daily Mail put out a story about it. And honestly, I am not surprised in the slightest. Now, I've always thought this kind of thing happens. That basically, to stop political unrest, to stop resentment against immigrants and all the rest of it, that these people, they basically go around and tell families what to say so that no one gets annoyed about these sort of things. I mean, you can call it a propaganda unit if you want. I mean, it was the whole idea basically was inspired by the Cold War era information operatives who did run covert style campaigns in the past. Yeah, it's true. It's damn true. The Daily Mail have done an investigation that alleges that RICU has been intervening in high-profile crime cases, especially those involving migrants, or that could be seen as racially sensitive. So how and why? Well, the claim is that they're helping to draft or shape statements from victims' families, briefing police on how to word public statements and trying to stop comments that might inflame racial tensions. Now that's a very eye-opening little statement there, isn't it? Trying to stop comments that might inflame racial tensions. Does anyone know what the government, what Keir Starmer and the government have just come out with in the last couple of days? If people had watched my video, then maybe you would have known. But anyway, oh God, what's her name? Jack. Oh shit, I can't remember her name. But anyway, the Minister for Technology wants to basically keep a lid on certain things. So when a big event like the Belfast stabbing happens, they want to be able to manage what social media puts out there. They want to be able to manage what people are saying about certain things. They don't want people to speculate that this could be an immigrant or a Muslim or whatever. That's bad for us. We can't be having our own free thoughts on things. We don't want to politicize things or anything like that. So that's quite that's quite coincidental to me that's just come out now when this is actually happening. It's happening now, and it's hard to deny it. So the paper describes RICU or RICU as a shadowy government unit that is quietly managing public narratives around certain incidents. Examples mentioned in coverage and related discussion include recent cases such as the June 2026 stabbing in Belfast of Stephen Ogilvie by a Sudanese national, other killings where the perpetrator had a migrant background. The stories gain traction because it fits into ongoing debates around, funnily enough, the Dundee girl incident, or Sophie of Dundee, the recent 17-year-old girl stabbed in the neck, and broader concerns about knife crime, immigration, and how incidents are reported or downplayed on social media and by authorities. Which they do. They absolutely do. They downplay it as much as they can whenever there's an atrocity or an incident involving migrants. It's why they're doing it is because basically they want to control the public. Okay, it's getting harder and harder to control the public with social media because you can pretty much say what you want. That's why these controls are coming in the first place, because they know that they've got to beat us to it. They've got to beat the regular man and woman. They've got to beat us to the story. They can't have us thinking things that are true. They can't have us thinking all immigrants are bad and all the rest of that shit. So, the government's position is they've previously defended the RICU's work as legitimate counter-extremism communications. And they argue that it helps prevent community tensions from escalating after serious incidents. Well, no, it doesn't. What it does is flames us even more, because the truth will always come out about these incidents, okay? We know deep down what these incidents involve. Now, you pretending that that's not the case is not helping things in the slightest. All it's doing is making people trust you even less. It's making us think that yous are just a bunch of fucking traitors to your own people. You've created this problem, you see. You've brought all these people over here without once looking at their past, looking at their history, knowing anything about these people, and just let them wander amongst the fucking public. And whenever something happens, you're like, well, yeah, it's not our fault. It's just, it wasn't religious or anything. It wasn't about the fact that he's a migrant. He just had mental health. Mental health. That's it. Mental health problems. That's the only issue here. It's fucking disgusting, man. It's completely true. Okay, and I've been going on about this for a while, to be honest with you, and I knew it would come out eventually because everything does. This government's more leaky than a fucking sieve, and I knew it would come out, and thankfully it has. So people can now, hopefully, this will make people come along and say, "Oh, actually, maybe these guys aren't as bigoted and mental as we think they are. Maybe the government is trying to hide this shit because they realise there is a fucking problem here." Anyway, what do you think of that then, guys? The Research, Information and Communications Unit. Um, do you feel that this has been going on? I mean, it's been apparently set up in 2007. I I honestly believe it's been going on longer than that. I would definitely since about 2000, 2001. But I think they've definitely upped their game in the last sort of 10 years. And it's easy to understand why, because, well, it ain't getting any fucking better, is it? So there you are. There's another example of how fucked up this government is and how much they're just lying to you. They're absolutely lying to this entire country. Trying to fob us off as people who just, tell them anything, man. As long as it doesn't implicate us in anything wrong, just, they'll be fine. Anyway, I see Tommy Robinson's been held at Heathrow Airport as well. I guess people would have heard that by now. No, I don't fully understand why, and I'm not really going to get into it. Anyone who does, I mean, I know he's been detained under Section 3 of the Counter-Terrorism and Border Security Act of 2019. That's about all I know. Has he done anything wrong again? Has he done something he shouldn't have? Possibly. I'm not the biggest Tommy Robinson fan in the world. I've never met the guy. I don't know him. But obviously a lot of people do like the guy, and, well, there's probably a reason for that. If he's just being harassed, then it's totally wrong that he's being held. Again, he's a guy who wants his country looked after, and he wants his country back to the way it used to be. Has he done something he shouldn't have? I don't know, so I can't comment that much on it. But if they're just harassing him because he's a pain in their arse, then, well, that's disgusting, and they need to let him go. It needs to stop. Because what they're actually doing with him is they're actually putting more supporters in his pocket by doing these sorts of things. They don't seem to understand it, man. Honestly, they're just the powers that be. Anyway. So, good luck to Tommy. I hope you get out, mate. Unless you've done something that deserves for you to be locked up. And if that's the case, well, then that's your own fault, mate, isn't it? Right, I think I'm going to leave it there for now. I was going to talk a little bit about Restore Britain, but I think I'm going to do a separate video on that, to be honest with you, because there's quite a lot to talk about as far as they're concerned. Reform are absolutely shitting themselves at the minute, and with good reason. So I'm going to do a separate video on that one, and I think I'm going to leave this here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, guys. It really does help a lot. If you do fancy chucking a few coins my way, I really, really appreciate it. You can find me at buymeacoffee.com/ramblinggeordie. My PayPal is up on this as well if you fancy, again, I don't do this for money or anything like that. I'm doing this because I need to get this stuff off my chest. I need to speak my mind and speak to people on both sides of the argument. Because it's no good just talking to people who you agree with. You don't get anywhere. I do this because I want to make this country better. I want to make this country back to how it used to be when I was a kid. But anyway, that's another very, very much longer story to tell. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you're all well. Enjoy the rest of your days. Thank you.